This is Tarron with Twist Mesquite Performance Horses. We are on a mission to create a world-class 2-year-old program that specializes in riding cow horse. Today we're doing a video with Apache. This is his third week in our program. This week we've done a lot of advancing this horse. A lot of what we're looking for with this horse is helping him relax and calm down, trust the situation, trust us through this whole process. This horse still has tendencies of overreacting, and when he overreacts, he'll revert back to the habits that he's learned prior to coming here and prior to his owner having him. And so what I mean, so when he overreacts, he may run off, he may take the halter and jerk it out of your hands, things like that. So we are having to go back and build a foundation with this horse to where we're building in a new way for him to think and this new process for him to think through. When something happens, he thinks about what we've taught him rather than reverting back and trying to rip the lead rope out of your hands. So we're doing that through, giving him plenty of time between our exercises to relax, doing our desensitizing exercises, giving him time to just sit like right here. I really like this frame of mind that he's trying to get into right now. I can see it in his eyes, and he's calming down. He has some life to his eyes, to where a lot of times before, his eyes are very dark, very still. His eyelids aren't blinking, and he's sitting there thinking about what is the next thing he has to react to. But like this right here, he's lowering his head, he's relaxing. There's still a lot of work to be done in order to get this horse to where he's ready to get on and have those good consistent rides with him. But we're getting closer every day. And so we're going to go through some of the things that we've worked on this week, just reminding him of all this stuff. One of the things we've been working on is, desensitizing with this flag. We've gotten to where we can touch his head with it, touch him all over his body. He still kind of tenses up and jumps a little bit, but we've made a lot of progress. He's a lot softer through his body. His head's not quite as high, not bracing up as much. He's like I said, he's still kind of jumpy to it a little bit, but we've made a lot of progress with him. And we've got to do a lot of this flexing where he thinks about, as soon as he feels that pressure, feels the weight come out of this lead rope, he comes off of it. I need this better than right here. Ideally, I don't have to bump on that halter at all, and he just comes, as soon as he feels it, he comes and gives to me. I need that better before I go and put a ride on him, because say, he were to react in a negative way or anything, I need to be able to have him follow his nose and give to that pressure, so that we can work on our one rein stops. We can progress him through our riding exercises, but this is the foundation. And it's a big thing for this horse to get to that point to where he's giving freely, because that means if he has his head bent around, that means he's not sitting here watching or paying attention to all these other things that he's, in the past, he would have been jumping around reacting to. And so if he learns to give as soon as I ask him, he's going to pay more and more attention to me, then that presents, and that gives us a horse that is less worried about finding something to jump from, or finding something to worry about or be concerned about. he's going to be paying attention to us a lot more. So ideally, what I'm looking for, as soon as I pick up on this rope, I want him to give and follow his nose and give him that flex. You know, as soon as I pick up on this, he should be giving right here. But if he doesn't, I'm going to bump on it, add some urgency, and then let him. You know, we need a bunch more of this to where there's no hesitation. See, there's hesitation right there. He's not giving. I have to bump him past that. So really, once he commits to coming to a bout right there, then he'll give. But it's just that hesitation right there, because he still thinks he wants to worry and he wants to look for something to spook at. And so he wants to keep his head just still. He wants to stick it up in the air and be concerned. But we're giving him a new thing to work on, to where he has to forget, or he has to kind of let go of that inclination. You know, another thing this does is, you know, when I do flex him, I want him to keep his feet still, and this is gonna build into our one rein stop, where we can make sure that this horse stops and keeps his feet still as we start getting on him or start riding him, to where if anything happens, we can always, you know, he realizes that the release right here is when he gets soft and he keeps his feet still. There, that was better. So he does, if I don't ask him to back up, I want him to, and he starts backing up on his own, I'm going to bring him back to me, ask him to come back to me there, because he has a tendency of trying to back away from you and want to run off. And so if he, just like he did there a second ago, he backed up without me asking, I'm going to bring him back into my space and want him to sit right here. Now here in a minute, we'll kind of show you some of these other backing exercises we've been working on. A lot of these backing exercises will help gain a horse's respect. Helps them just be more respectful, and it's good for these horses that are wanting to run off somewhere. It gets them start thinking about doing something else rather than just taking off and running around. So that was really good there. He's not reacting much to it. You know, I want to be able to rub this all over him. You know, I'm certainly not going to hit him in the face right here. I want this to be nice and soft, and just realize, I mean, just imagine I'm sitting here rubbing him with it, and it's the same thing. So I mean, if you're gonna halter this horse, you're gonna bridle this horse up, you know, we want all of this. You know, we don't want him being concerned right here. I want him just relaxed right there. That was really good. I'm gonna quit him right there. I want to reward that right there. Another thing we do, this was really good for him. We're going to need to do a lot more of it because he was pretty concerned about it. But it's a lot of these sets of head shy exercises where we're just moving our hand around the vicinity of his eyes. You know, we want to make sure that we don't hit him. We don't, nothing like that. You know, you want this to be a safe, rewarding. You know, we're going to rub him. This is comfortable. We want this comfortable for him. But we want him comfortable with our hand coming around here. When I first started doing this, he threw his head up and wanted to back away from me and get away from it, which is a pretty consistent thing with him, introducing something new like that was kind of that was just his MO. He'd try to run away from it. But we're giving him something new to think about. Okay, well, just because I'm right here, I'm making noise, I'm moving this around his head, doesn't mean I have to run off. Doesn't mean he has to run off or worry about it. Just gonna rub his eye, rub all over his head. He's standing right here. He's kind of moving his head around a little bit, kind of avoiding it a little bit, but not much. We're just gonna do this. Just keep working on this till we get it better, till he's relaxed. This is really good for those reactive horses, because generally they're pretty head shy as well. And this is just helping, address all of these different things that he worries about, because that's what the root of just running off, and that's what the root of running off and taking this lead rope out of your hands. It's him being fearful, and him not understanding how to be in a different state of mind. Like he's just known being fearful when he's been around people, and the only time that he was not fearful or worried was when he was turned out and he's by himself, or he's out there with the herd or whatever. And so we have to show him that there's another way to be, and that's being in a good thinking frame of mind. That's a relaxed state of mind. And so when he's with people, he doesn't have to revert back to that same way of thinking. And that way of thinking was just being reactive and worried and fearful of everything that was going on. We want to just give him a time to learn this new way of being. It just takes time. It's like, it's no different people. It takes time to learn a new habit, learn a new way of thinking. You have to be consistent with it. And it's the same with these horses. He kind of raised his head there, was worried a little bit about it. And I just let him just do this till he relaxes a little bit, and I'll take it away and rub all over him. I'm not forcing his head right here. I have a hold of this lead rope, but I just have him. But he's standing right here. He's pretty relaxed about it, and I just let him be right here. Another thing I like to do is rub all over this horse right here. Another bad habit that he's been in was, as soon as you take that halter off, he would turn away and want to just run off and be somewhere else. And so, we've been spending time. When I go take this halter off, I want to just rub on him right here, let him know that he can sit right here. This is a restful place right here. I just want to rub all over him right here. Another thing, we get him to lower their pole. So we just press just place our hand right between his ears, and we wait for him to give. We take it away right there. That's just bringing him into this spot. So ideally, when I go to halter this horse, this is where I want him to be. Now it's going to take time to get him here to where this is just a habit for him. Some horses learn it pretty quick, and they're pretty easy to be right here, and some take some time. But the more we can work on it, just get him softer, get him lower his head right here, wait for him to get soft. I'll kind of escalate the pressure if he doesn't respond just off of me touching him, and wait till he gives, lowers his head right there. I'll take it away. As I want to be able to rub all over him. So he's kind of took his head away from me a little bit right there. So I'm bring it back to me and just rub on him. And again, this is stuff that may have to be worked on for the next month straight. Not to say that we hold everything up until we get him lowering his head and he sticks his head around there all quiet. But, we might, we'll work on these things, get them pretty good, and then advance to the next thing. But it may be things that we're thinking about, that we're practicing, that we're working on when we go catch this horse, when we go put him up, when we're doing different things with him. We might chip away at some of those things and just get more repetitions in. This to me, I don't know that I believe in the idea of a finished horse. I believe that there's always something new that you can be working on or bettering or teaching a horse. It's no different than with people, and that's my mindset with people, is you're never too old to learn. You can always progress and improve. And to me, to get deep here for a minute, but it's to me that's the meaning of life, is to experience the life that you want, to be working towards that and be bettering yourself all throughout the time. And so every horse that I have or that I come in contact with, I want that for them. I want it to be a good experience. And then I want them to be better. One of the things that I learned in Boy Scouts when I was younger was this rule they had when we would go camping somewhere. They said, you always leave a place better than you found it. And that's what I believe with these horses and the people that we meet. We want to be better. We want to do something that makes the situation better. Or maybe it's even just how we interacted with the horse or our customers, or somebody on the street. We want it to be a better experience after we leave than it was before. So you want to have a good impact and good interactions with people, and in turn, these horses that we have in contact with. So this morning when I saddled him, he was kind of jumpy around his flanks and around his butt here. And so this is another thing that I'll do, and I'll pat on this saddle. Between these desensitizing things, I'll tap all around right here, especially these more touchy horses that they just got to relax. Like, he's just got to relax here. He's just tense. He gets so tense and concerned, and his whole body's tense. Like, you just need to relax. Just calm down. Just like me tapping on you isn't killing you. Like, it's just relax right here. I'm just rubbing on you. I'm just loving on you. I just do it with my tapping. Where you just get to where he relaxes right here. And so we get, this horse has spent a lot of time running around worried and concerned about all the people that he's been around. He's had things forced on him, and so he's just reacts to it. It's like, well, every time I get around somebody, it's been something that he doesn't understand, and it's been uncomfortable. So he's got to, we just got to rewire his brain a little bit right here. Spend some time doing that. I truly believe the best thing you can do for a young horse is get him in the hands of somebody that's very experienced, that has a record of producing the type of horse that you're wanting to have, the type of horse that you're wanting to achieve, what your goals are, putting that horse in the hands of somebody experienced. And generally, somebody that does a good job and that's experienced with anything, they're not going to be the cheapest around. They're going to have quality in mind. They're not trying to be cheap. They're not trying to do something cost effective as a main focus. Their focus is on quality. Their focus is on doing the right thing and doing it well. And The best thing, to me, the best thing you can do with these young horses is put them in the hands of somebody that's very good at what they do, understands where you're wanting to go with that horse, and spend time with that horse setting that foundation. Because if you don't, you mess around and you screw around and you send these horses to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, or you can find yourself in a bind. I've done it. I've sent horses that way. Like, where wasn't necessarily the best person to send that horse to, and you have holes to fix and you have things to fix, and that's all. The way to avoid that is you just say, okay, well, has this person produced what I'm looking for? And if he hasn't, he may be good at what he does, but he just hasn't simply produced what you're looking for. But you can find and spend time finding somebody that has produced that. Same with this horse. If when he was 2, if he would have got started, or even earlier, got handled by a bunch of people that knew what they were doing, and they knew how to build this horse's confidence, and they knew how to take care of him. A lot of these issues right now that we're having with him, or that he's, these bad habits that he's learned, they wouldn't be a thing, because he wouldn't have got the habit of running around and jerking the lead rope out of your hands, because he wouldn't have even thought that people were a danger to him. He would have just followed his nose and followed the lead rope and went wherever you wanted him to go, if he was started in the right hands. And this is why his owner, he brought him to us, because she wants him better. She sees a vision and what he can be. She thinks, she knows there's a good horse in here, and there is. He can think, he can process. He's pretty athletic. We just got to rewire his brain, and it's just going to take some time to do it. He's 4 years old, so there's been 4 years of reacting in a certain way and acting a certain way and getting rewarded for it. And so there's not to say that it takes 4 years to undo it, but it takes some time. And those early years of a horse's life is the most important. When a horse is young, he's very impressionable, and he'll learn what you're teaching him. And sure enough, if it's not the right thing, it's hard to unteach him. It takes a lot of time. There, I like that he's relaxing some right there, calming down. So a couple of these backup exercises we taught him. And this is good for when you're needing to get him up out of your space, or you want to do some of these exercises outside in the arena, or on the trail, or just anywhere. But this gets this horse's respect. It gets him more broke on the ground. It gets him thinking about, listen to me more, and just every time that you can move this horse's feet and reward him, you gain his respect. So I'll start by wiggling this rope and start swinging this back and forth, and ideally he starts backing up right here. But with the horses learning the difference between our movements, doing some desensitizing exercises and our more active exercises, it takes some time sometimes for them to understand the difference. But if you're consistent and you ask in a consistent manner, with this horse, I'd rather him be a little slower and react a little slower. It's going to take time for him to react the way we want him to, in a quick manner, because he's used to just reacting blindly and not even thinking about what he's doing. And so it's going to take some time to work that thinking muscle. He's like, okay, what does this person want me to do right here? And then to start doing it. It's going to take some time. But like I said, we're rewiring his brain right here, getting him to think about things rather than just blindly reacting, running around, dragging people around, acting silly. So I want to be cognizant of when I ask him and he does it, I ask him to do something. And so it's just right there. I asked him to back up. He did it. I want to be cognizant of it, and I want to reward that. Like right here, I'm relaxed, I'm calm. I'm just letting him sit. You know, that he realizes I can ask him to do something and him do it, and everything's okay. You know, there's no punishment on the other side. There's no worry, fear. It's just he knows that everything's okay. You know, it's important with these type of horses that are on the reactive side. It's important to give them time to think and process between exercises, between the times that you're asking them. Give them time to process and relax and calm down. You know, sometimes we can get in a rush and we can get in a hurry. We want to move on to the next thing. We want to get on to the next thing. Need to speed this thing up. But there are times we need to just slow down, relax, and think about things a little bit. Another exercise, backup exercise, is us starting to back up off this halter pressure. He did it a little bit. Want to get kind of a little softer to my hand here. He knew how to do this a little bit before I taught him, or retaught him, I guess, or revisited it. I want to be able to just pick up on this halter real light. I like that he gave to me right there. I'm going to add that kiss in there just to encourage his feet to move. That way this horse knows when I kiss to him, I do want their feet to move. That's going to help me on our rides when we're riding them, especially when we're by ourselves here, putting these rides on them. They understand that when they hear that kiss, that means move your feet, and it helps our rides go smoother as we progress. There, he got a few steps right there. Good cadence right there. So here I just want to pick up light. There. So there's a couple times he threw his head up right there. He braced up against me, he locked his feet up. And I want to make sure that I give when he's soft. So there, he gave his head to me a little bit. He was moving his feet, and so I let him get softer right there, and I quit him. I don't want to reward this horse when he has his head up way in the air, or when he has his feet locked up, bracing up. You know, that fluid motion, that fluid flow is important, especially on these reactive horses. You know, surprisingly, he's done pretty well with this tarp. I just want to be able to rub it all over him. This thing makes a lot of noise. Kind of comes off on the other side of him over here. He's a little concerned about it, but he's keeping his feet still. He's blinking. So those are good signs. So I want to rub him all over right here. Now I'm, right there I was pretty far back. Certainly run a risk of getting kicked. But I've been paying attention to this horse, and he hasn't shown me a tendency to do that. Generally, when a horse goes to kicking, either it's a pretty quick thing that they learn. So like when you go to desensitizing them, what I've noticed is you go to desensitizing them around their legs, they'll start kicking, or their belly. You start desensitizing their belly, they'll start kicking at you pretty quick, and you see it pretty quick. Or if the horse gets real wound up and fired up, they may resort to kicking and doing that. So you can kind of see if any horse can do it, but you'll kind of you can tell, and it's a lot like people, you can tell a lot by the actions that they take. So if this horse hasn't shown us a tendency, we put him through different things, and he hasn't shown us a tendency to kick, there's less likelihood of him doing it. It's always a possibility, but there's less likelihood of it. So we're always paying attention to those just little small things. Like, okay, but this horse, he does have, he has shown us a tendency of running off. He has shown us a tendency of jerking the lead rope out of your hands. Those are actions that he's taken, that he's shown us tendencies of. And so we want to be cognizant of those things. And, for sure, we don't want to give him a chance to do that. And we want to work on the things that help get rid of that going forward, which is getting him softer through our groundwork. A lot more of this flexing. So what does this do here? It's like, okay, well, when this horse feels that halter pressure, the more we can do these different types of exercises that get this horse following his nose, it gets him to where as soon as it gets to be repetition, it gets to be muscle memory. So as soon as he feels that pickup on his nose, he feels that pressure, he follows it. And so he's going to have, the more you can do that, the more you build that repetition and you build that muscle memory, the more likely you're going to be able to help that horse through any tendencies or bad habits that he used to have, and you can help him work through those things. So we're just rewiring his brain. We're putting new things at him, new things. So he showed me right here, he's jumping around on that lead rope. So it showed me, okay, let's go back and work on some more of this right here. I want to throw this all the way around. He was kind of jumping around at it. If we find those spots, we got to address them. Especially if we've already kind of covered that stuff and he's just showing it some more. It's like, okay, well, if he's had a bunch of this, but he showed me he needed some more of it. And maybe he doesn't need more of it tomorrow, but he showed me he needed some more of it today, so we got to work on that. And a lot of times we've kind of found, some horses that they don't have any bad habits, any baggage, they progress pretty quickly. Other horses, depending on how ingrained those bad habits are or those tendencies are, kind of tells us how long they need or what they're likely to need. You just kind of work on things as you go and find the holes, find the things they're worried about. See, there's still a little bit of hesitation right there. Gonna bump him past that, add some urgency. So I want him to be thinking, as soon as I pull this, pull up on this lead rope, I want him to think about giving. And I want that to be the new thing that he thinks about as soon as he feels that. He's not thinking about what's going on around him. He's not thinking about what's over the fence. He's not thinking about the noise. He's thinking about me and getting soft. It just takes time. So I pick up very lightly and I bump him, and I give. As soon as he gives a little bit, I'll give back to him. And the more we do this right, eventually it's going to be, as soon as I pick up, he gives. Oh, he lowered his head right there. I just gave it back to him. He got relaxed a little bit right there. That was good. I'll let him kind of sit right here a second. A couple more things we're going to work on. We're going to show you. This was a big thing for him. I think one day he was pretty reactive to this. Took him a minute to learn it. But this next thing's a pretty big, important deal, especially for him. He was kind of concerned about us being so close to him, being right here. You know, he was concerned about our hands being all around his head and all of that stuff. He's concerned about being right here next to us. So another thing we teach these young horses, this is going to help them follow in their nose. It's going to help them just getting more halter broke. It's kind of with him, he needs some more halter breaking. Like if a horse is jerking your lead rope out of your hands, he's not that halter broke. He's not halter broke because he doesn't follow his nose. He doesn't follow the halter. He doesn't follow the lead rope. If he's jerking it out of your hands and going off and doing his own deal, horse is not halter broke. And so, but all of this stuff, all this groundwork, all these things, it's going to help make that better. And it's going to help us fix some of those things that, maybe he was halter broke at one point, and then he learned a bunch of bad habits, and he is no longer halter broke. So this right here, he was pretty concerned about being this close up to me. He didn't want to be this close. He didn't want to follow me this close. He wanted to be way behind me, wanted me to drag him around. He wanted to be away from me so he could get away quicker. He would rather be off on his own rather than being right up here with me. But things we've worked on, let him know, hey, this is a safe place right here. You can be right here with me. And so I want him, if he kind of lags behind me, I'm just going to kind of pick up on this lead rope here, and I want him to give to that. So come off of that halter pressure. And he did right there. That was good. I want him to follow his nose around here, gets to stay soft. Keep slacking this lead rope and just follow me around. Just be right here. Realize that this is a nice, calm place. This is a safe place right here, being this close. Now, we don't do this right off the bat with these horses. If I can't get this horse's respect, if I can't get him moved away from me, out of my space, I don't want him this close. But through everything we've done, we're now to the point to where I can do this pretty confidently and safely, where I can have this horse as close up to me and in my space right here. But I need this horse being comfortable with me right here. I like that. He lagged behind. I just took the slack out and he come back up to it. I want to be able to, I can work on this when I have him. Just taking them between here and the pins. Man, this is good. This was a big thing for him. He really did not want anybody sitting right here this close to him. And so if I can just stand right here, he stopped when I stopped. He's lowering his head. He's relaxing. He's taking it all in. And he's like, man, I'm okay right here. Just kind of push his shoulder over. Rub on him. I want to be able to do it from both sides of him. I go to walking, the more you do this, you go to walking, he'll just stay right up next to you. This side was a little worse than the other. This side, he was really avoiding me. He didn't want me to be up over here. This side of him, you can tell he's a little less comfortable with me. On this side of him, wants to kind of have some more space between me and him. But we just do more of it. It's practice. See, this is a whole lot different than me having to drag him around, him being heavy on this lead rope. And, him thinking about how can I get away? How can I jerk? How can I run off and jerk that lead rope out of his hands? This is a whole lot different mindset. There, that was good. I want to be able to come over here. There, he trotted up to next to me, so that was really good. He realized, oh, I need to get up there. And as I said, the first time we taught him this, he reacted, he jumped around, he tried to run off, he did all sorts of crazy stuff. But generally, man, if you have that kind of situation happen and then you quit that horse in the right place, that horse learns. And it's just like him, he's a couple other sessions past that point, he's learned it pretty well. He's figuring out, hey, I need to get up there. I need to keep slacking that lead rope right there. I need to stay up with him. I want to stay. I'll kiss to him if he lags behind, if he doesn't get off of that halter pressure. I'll stop, and I want him to stop. Just sit here and relax. He's licking his lips, lowering his head, blinking his eyes. And all of those are signs of him just relaxing, calming down. Or getting his horse to use his brain. The last thing we'll show you today is another exercise we're using to prep for our first ride. And we'll kind of show you why we're doing it, what we're looking for. So at this point, I've taught this horse how to flex. He still has some more to do, some more things we're wanting to get better. Well, what we're going to do is, this is no different. This is just simulating. If we're, when we're getting on him and we're asking him to turn around, we're asking him to steer with his nose and follow his nose. And we're wanting him to get soft. And I'll kind of show you. So like I said, at this point, he's been taught how to flex. He's been taught how to get soft. And so, I wouldn't do this. I'm not doing that to teach a horse how to flex. Horse already knows how to flex. He's given to that halter. He's given to that pressure right there. He's licking his lips. One of the things that this horse has to figure out in that position right there is that just because, I'm not standing right next to him, I'm over here, right? There's things going on over around here, and he is in a vulnerable position. To him, his mentality of, well, I've got to be paying attention and I've got to be watching and learning, or I've got to be reacting, right? That was his past mindset. And when he has his head been around and he's given to that pressure, he's in a vulnerable position. And so he has to trust. He has to trust me. He has to trust the process. He has to trust that the right answer is to be soft to that lead rope. And he has to realize, hey, I'm okay. I'm in a safe place. I'm not in danger. And so, that's one of the things that this exercise does. Another thing is when I'm not asking him to move his feet, I want him to stop, just like right there, and give that halter pressure and get soft. That's what I want when I do that when I'm riding him. I want that right there. When I'm not asking him to move and I do a one rein stop or I'm flexing him, I want him to be soft to that halter, and I want him to stop his feet. That is what we're teaching this horse. That's how we're going to teach this horse. It's how we're going to help him through anything that he worries about or he's concerned about. If something jumps out of the bushes, on these first few rides, if whatever happens, we can bring this horse back down to a stop. He stops his feet, and we can bring him back down to a relaxed state of mind. So I do want to be able. The next thing this exercise does is I want him to be able to follow his nose, bring his front end and his hind end through a turn, and follow his nose. He's doing it pretty softly. He's got a little bit of tension. He's kind of has that halter, that lead rope tight a little bit, but he is waiting on me to tell him. So right there, I stopped, and he said, okay, he's not asking me to move my feet, so I'm going to stop. I'm going to get soft. I'm going to get soft to this lead rope. I'm going to lick my lips so that everything's okay. I'm okay. And I can relax right here. So it's teaching him to follow his nose through that turn, so that when we're asking him to guide, that he realizes, like, okay, well, I need to follow my nose right here through this turn. And then it's teaching him, when pressure's off, when I'm not asking him to move forward, it's time to just relax and put slack in that lead rope right there. And that this is the time he can rest. He can calm down. He can relax. He can get a breather. So once he sits there a second, he just relaxes and calms down, and we'll go. And again, he's in a vulnerable spot right here, so we want to rub on him. We want to take care of him. We don't want to hit him right here or do anything to cause him to not trust us. We'll let him straighten up right there. Go back to rubbing on him and then we'll remind him about getting soft right here. Sometimes they'll kind of brace up a little bit and they won't be quite as soft just because they were moving their feet and got tense. So we just want to remind them about being soft to this lead rope and this halter. We want to be able to do it on both sides. The result of that last one was pretty good. He You know, I'd like him to be a little more calm when I'm asking him to move his feet, but some of that's going to just work itself out as we're riding him. But the main thing for me is that he stops his feet and relaxes when I'm not asking him to move his feet, because that is the basis of our one rein stop. That's the basis of us being able to help him through any concern he may feel when we go to get on him and work him. And that's how we teach him to relax and get back to a good thinking frame of mind. This has been very good for this horse, because he has to get soft and trust the process rather than getting tense and alarmed to what's going on. It's like, it's very counterintuitive. It's very contrary to what he's been doing and what he's naturally wanted to do. I wouldn't say naturally, what he's learned to do. You know, I just want him to follow his nose, move his hip and his front end around, following his nose. See if he feels some noise. He's hearing that noise. He's feeling that pressure a little bit. He's getting tense. We'll just let him relax through there. Climbing over the tarp. Good. And then we'll let him sit and relax. See, because he worked through some things mentally right there. All the noise of the round pin, you know, he's like, oh, that's something to worry about. But he kept following his nose, relaxing. Then he could have blown up and got worried and concerned about that tarp. But he just walked over it and kept following his nose. And we reward him right there. We let him relax and calm down and let him know, hey, it's all good. And that he's doing a good job. Just pet on him. As I said, he's in a vulnerable position. You know, we're building this horse's trust, so we need to make sure to be cognizant of that. He's made some big improvements today. He's a lot more quiet, calm, relaxed at the end of this session. I really like it. Making some headway with him. You know, I want to be able to, we're going to start doing this more now. We're getting closer to being where he's in a good frame of mind to put a ride on him. Start riding him, start putting some foundational rides on him. I want to be able to get on him. I want to rub all over him. Make sure he sees me on this side. You know, if he were to, you know, I have my foot at the end of that stirrup. I don't have my foot deep in that stirrup. So if he were to jump or do something, you know, I want to be able to keep my foot from getting hung up or doing something like that. See, and then we've taught him, you know, he's not hobbled right here. We don't have this lead rope tight. I have it short enough where I can get a hold of him. But he's been taught through our desensitizing exercises that his best option is to stand here quiet and relax, because we want that for when we go to get on him. You know, we want him to be able to realize that he can sit still, be calm and quiet. And for me, I want him in that state of mind, so I can build, then I can add the motion, and I can add the movement, and I can add I can get him free after I have that on him. But that's important for these first rides, to where this horse is calm and relaxed, and he's confident with me getting on and off of him. So over this next week, we'll be doing a lot more of that, getting on and off of him, just making sure he's relaxed there. We'll start, I want to get that flexing better. I want to be able to do this from both sides. We hadn't worked on this yet, but just be able to flex him from this off side and get him to get soft right here. See, he has to trust right here. So he's like, man, he's sitting on the other side of me. So he has to put his eye to me. He has to, I'm in his blind spot when he's been around that way. But I need to be able to see he's concerned about it. Just get up out of the way there. Bring him back over here. So we want to get that better, so that when I'm on him, I can flex him both sides. And he can see me he gets used to seeing me out of both eyes and following his nose. So right here, I'm just going to give a little quicker, so that I reward the right behavior of he gave to me and kept his feet still. So as we progress, we'll get it better and better. All these little things all chip away and are helping this horse getting into a good frame of mind, where we can get to where we trust this horse eventually. Like we will get there. All of these things are working to where, we can trust him, and then he can trust us. So overall, I'm pleased with how he's progressed. We're getting into that mind of his, getting to where he can trust us. He trusts us more. We're getting real close to getting to where he's ready to get on. Just like this mindset right here. So when he's relaxed, he's blinking his eyes, he's calm. I want that through the whole process. I want that through every step of the way. And so when he would heighten up, he'd get reactive right there. That's the opposite of what we're wanting in this right here. We want him to relax and be calm, be blinking his eyes. And in that state is a good state where we can be pretty safe on him. We're teaching him, we're helping him understand, and we're actually creating a horse that can be rode, and we're teaching that horse how to be rode at that point. So everything up to that point is just helping him prepare to be that type of horse. And so, as I said, this frame of mind right here is what we're looking for. This is a good place to quit him. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one.